Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, and yes, I went all in for speech number 7. I spent $355 researching my topic for this speech. I'll do anything for this cause. Okay, I get it. I hadn't originally planned to spend that much money or even research this topic at all, but I became so personally involved with it that it was pure destiny. On January 26th of this year, I received a speeding ticket in a school zone. Gasp, I know, how could I think of the children? Let me tell you, I'm normally driving Miss Daisy. I'm the guy being cautious, driving in a reasonable and safe manner. In fact, I thought I was actually going well below the speed limit, 29 and a 35, when a guy in a truck flashed his headlights at me as the international signal of, hey, there's a cop up ahead. The squad car was hidden in a hedge, parked in a resident's driveway. An officer was on foot with a speed gun. He waved for me to pull over, and I immediately followed his directions. He notified me that I was doing 29 in a 15-mile-per-hour school zone, and he wrote the ticket. There were no pedestrians in sight, school children or otherwise, and I sat there as cars passed me doing an estimated 45 miles per hour. Nevertheless, I pleasantly cooperated, thanked him for his service, and I went on my way. I hold a Class A commercial driver's license, and I've never had a speeding ticket go on my record. The last ticket I had received was 13 years ago, but again, not on my record. This prompted the first part of my research. I was new to the area at the time, but I thought there was no way that I could have missed the school zone markings if they were proper, but they weren't. After the media buzz died down, I went back to the crime scene to review the signage and markings to compare them to FDOT standards that I found online. There were several discrepancies. According to FDOT regulations, the signage was non-standard. It should look like this, with 2 full-size signs, an FDP 30-06 and an FDP 35-06 and an FDP 30-06. But it actually looks like this, increasing signage size by nearly 40%. According to FDOT, minimum sign sizes may only be used on low-volume, low-speed, less than 35 mile per hour streets. This is a 35 mile per hour street, not less. The signs were also backwards from the standard that's laid out in the FDOT index. These signs should actually be reversed. One final issue is that the crosswalk markings did not comply with the FDOT index. It doesn't have the proper special emphasis markings, again, as per the index. Immediately, I know I've uncovered the city's goose that lays the golden eggs. Was FLPD capitalizing dishonestly on the zone? There's no way I was going to pay for this ticket. Time to lawyer up. As an employee for the U.S. Attorney's Office, right here in Fort Lauderdale, I have some of the nation's finest lawyers at my fingertips. Many are Ivy League grads. Some have been in the business for decades and have worked on world-famous cases. They were all absolutely worthless. I'm joking, of course, but for the most part, none of the guys I asked had any experience with an issue like this. Not to mention they couldn't represent me due to the whole conflict of interest issue anyway. The next best option was some 2-bit Saul Goodman wannabe who works part-time with my dad for flight and health benefits and was once suspended for practicing law for violating bar rules. One end of the spectrum to the next. But hey, guys that work with my dad raved about how he got them out of points on their license and how they dodged tickets completely. I sealed the deal for an $80 fee via PayPal and emailed him a 1-page document explaining every detail that I had researched, along with several pages of highlighted FDOT regulations and pictures. Case closed. I had a pre-trial hearing on March 10th, but my big shot lawyer said I didn't need to be there and that he'd handle it. It even seemed that he was almost trying to convince me not to go. I gave him the benefit of the doubt, especially since there was talk of getting it dismissed that day. Of course, that didn't happen. He assured me, however, that there's no way I'd get points on my license, which of course was my main concern, but I still thought we should fight it in light of my research. Fast forward 2.5 months to the most expensive part of my research. My trial was on May 28th, and there was no way I was going to miss it, even though Saul Goodman once again seemed to be trying to convince me not to go. That may be because Saul Goodman never showed up. It took me a few minutes, but I quickly realized what was going on after speaking to the only lawyer in the courtroom. Saul was paying that guy a portion of my $80 to be there, as was every other shyster lawyer and ticket clinic in the county. That guy handled probably 90% of the approximately 100 cases on the docket for that session alone. Everyone knew this guy but me. The judge, the cops, the clerks. The atmosphere was almost surreal. The cases were handled at the pace of about 1 every 10 seconds. I'm sitting there thinking, this guy is making like $7,000 an hour. If the cop wasn't there, dismissed. If the cop couldn't recall the details, dismissed. If the cop left his paperwork at home, dismissed. Occasionally the lawyer would make a motion to dismiss for other reasons, and occasionally the judge would agree, but for the majority of the tickets, the lawyer would simply say, change of plea. It was immediately understood by everyone in the courtroom that the judge would instantly enter a no contest plea, say withheld, toss out any points that would have otherwise gone on the person's license, and then reduce the fine a little bit. It was truly automatic. In fact, I could probably program a $5 app for this process, and they could lay off everyone involved. My evidence never had any chance of being brought up. That's not how the game works. Those aren't the rules. There are no real trials. My case was over before I knew what happened. I don't think anyone's driving record even played a factor either. All of these ticket lawyers know that it's a guaranteed thing that they can save people from points on their license. That's why they guarantee it. But that's all they're going to do. If you truly want to fight it, you'll have to find a real lawyer or just show the evidence yourself. The bottom line, if all you're concerned about is points on your license, merely enter a not guilty plea online, maintain your plea at your pretrial conference, and then simply say the change of plea at the hearing. It's a sure thing from what I saw. If you don't want to take the time to do all of that, then find the absolute cheapest lawyer you can find, because they're all apparently doing the same thing anyway. Change of plea, withheld, $275. Thank you.